Welcome to MELfeed.video. We are commencing a live web stream service via youtube.com from Echuca, Australia. We currently conduct these streams on Monday evenings, with other times to be added as more opportunities arise. Please visit our website MELfeed.video for further information. This web video project presents old and new community TV programs. Please enjoy your stay with MELfeed.video.
This repeat episode of NAT Chat Migration Stories is presented as a tribute to its host, Richard McAuliffe, who sadly passed away this last year.
Welcome to Migration Stories, produced for NAT Chat by Northern Access TV here in Melbourne's northern suburbs. I'm Richard McAuliffe and my guest today is Noriko Tadano. Hello Noriko.
Hello.
You're from Japan originally.
Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you for migrating to Australia.
Thank you for having me.
And enriching us. How is it that you did migrate to Australia? What was the circumstances for your decision?
Well, I was working at the company for over 6.5 years, and I always wanted to go abroad and live in overseas. And one day I had a little bit of sick, and I decided I don't want to spend all my life in working hard in a company. So I told my boss.
This is in Japan, in a company there?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, go on.
And then decided to come over here as the Japanese assistant teacher. That was back in 2004, December.
All right.
I'm still here.
Around 9 years ago?
Yes, that's right.
So when that happened in 2004, was that a decision to migrate, or was it a bit of a let's work there and see what it's like?
Yeah, it's more, I was working holiday visa holder, just trial, just 1 year. But I was seeing a boy who is my husband now at that time. So
indeed.
Yeah. So
an Australian man?
Yeah, he is.
So it's a love migration.
Yes.
The best kind.
Yes.
But take me back to your environment in Japan. Where did you live? Which city?
I grew up I was born in Chiba City, in Chiba Prefecture. It's near Tokyo, about 40 minutes by train away from Tokyo. And Chiba has it's a peninsula and has the beach along the side. And my town it's not huge, but it's medium population there. And quite big.
Well, Tokyo is what, 8 million?
Yeah, that's right.
And so the town would be what, like 500,000 or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
And near a beach?
Yes.
So what are the beaches like in Japan?
Especially where the beach where near my house, it's not quite nice actually. It's all industrial side.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, compared to Australian beautiful beach, it's nothing. But still, people going there and doing surfing and so on. Surfing?
Oh well, okay. And you would commute every day to work, catch a train?
That's right.
All right. Yeah. And what about your family there? You're so young, so you were talking about perhaps in your early 20s you were working there? How big was your family and how often would you see family members?
In Japan, my parents, mom and dad are there, and I have one older sister. She's in Canada now with my nephew. So 2 daughters of them, my mom and dad, in overseas.
They're overseas.
Yeah.
That must be a little sad for them.
Yeah, but I guess these days on Skype anytime and internet and,
Brilliant.
Feel more actually closer than where I was in Japan. So
How interesting.
Yeah, it is. We feel distantly it's far away, but we are very close.
It has made the world a smaller place and perhaps a little easier to migrate and change and adapt for them.
Yeah, that's true.
So they can, see how you're going, can read your facial expressions and hear a story. Tell me a little bit about, okay, we talked about the beach and that town, but countryside there is in Japan, isn't there? Mountainside, all these wonderful places.
Yes, that's right.
Would you often make a trip to the mountains and such like?
Yeah, I used to travel a little bit, but not much when I was working. It was too hard, too busy. But
Yes.
my father is from Fukushima Prefecture, and
Okay.
my mother is Akita Prefecture, which is it's more northern area of Japan, and especially my father's hometown. It's a beautiful mountain. There is the beautiful river and so
Wow.
on. Yeah.
So is it traditional, is it normal to have like an annual holiday and go, here in Australia we go camping, something similar to?
Yeah, we have, it's called a Golden Week, which is we can get 7 or 5 to 7 days off. It's not a weeks like Australian do.
Yes.
But that's long for Japanese.
Excellent.
So that time we travel.
Excellent. Now, I wonder if your parents are interested to come visit you in Australia?
They have...
That happens too?
Yeah, they were just here in July, August. Especially I gave a birth in June, so my mother and father came, and especially my mother
Of
stayed
course, everyone came to
long,
see the baby.
supported me.
Just like in my culture when I was growing up, and people would come from Italy and Malta to see a newborn Australian. Maltese people who are now Australian people. It's just so wonderful. Well, what about your husband? How's he coping with the Japanese culture in his life?
Well, he lived in Japan for 4 years as well.
Wow.
And he's really getting into the Japanese culture at that time too.
Of course.
So he eats Japanese food and he likes the Japanese culture, Japanese things and so on and so on. So it's really actually easy for me to live with him or...
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, by living there for 4 years,
Yes.
he fell in love with the country as well as your good self. Well, how wonderful to hear your story. But here you are in Australia, and also you've brought an instrument, and later on we'll be hearing you play it.
Yes.
So that is the shamisen,
Yeah, that's right.
and you're most certainly the best shamisen player in the whole of Australia. We'll find out.
Yes, you find out.
We'll continue with migration stories after the break.
Hey guys, what'd you like?
Coffee, thanks.
2 coffees, please. Coffees. What kind of coffee would he like?
Cappuccino.
Cappuccino. What can I get for you?
I'll have a coffee, thanks.
Yeah, 2 coffees, please. Awesome. And what kind of coffee would you like?
Cappuccino, thanks.
2 cappuccinos.
Autism. Change your reactions, change your actions.
This season, we need your help to control Queensland fruit fly in our region. Your infested fruit is destroying your neighbour's harvest and the livelihood of our orchardists and their families. Pick up and dispose of fallen fruit. Infected fruit in your backyard is a breeding ground for fruit fly. Monitor fruit fly numbers by hanging traps in your fruit trees. Traps can be purchased at your local hardware stores. Net your fruit trees and susceptible vegetables with fruit fly specific netting. Contact us for information.
Shave your hands. You really think we can conquer blood cancer?
Yes, I do.
So, how did you go?
Oh, I haven't even started yet. That was just my workout routine. We need you. Sign up now.
Northern Access Television will turn 30 in 2020. We are planning a celebration night with a book and a special TV show about our history. If you're a past member or a volunteer of NAT, we would love to hear from you. For more details, visit the website nat30years.info and find out how you can help celebrate 30 years of media for the community. The 30th anniversary of Northern Access Television. Let's celebrate in 2020.
Welcome back. We're here with Noriko and her instrument, and in the background your baby and husband.
Yes.
So congratulations, your baby's around 1 year old or?
6 months now.
6 months. Fantastic. So how is it settling into Australia with a family now?
It's wonderful. Always it's been great.
Good services and facilities for you?
Yes, especially I realized the more things after I gave the birth or even before the system of Australia.
The Australian system, medical system?
Great, very good.
It is great, isn't it? We're so lucky, aren't we?
I think so, yeah.
And yes, well, you know, everything's going beautifully well there, but still it's a juggle. Are you working or not working a job at the moment?
I returned to perform.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
well, now you're performing.
3 weeks. So.
However, before the baby was born, you had a job as well?
Yes, I was doing, as a music artist, I played the instrument.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my job.
Oh, well, that's a brilliant job. I wish I could have such a job myself, but I have insufficient talent. But we'll find out in the next section how you're playing. But what about, so what's a sort of a routine in your day here?
Now it's dramatically changed after the baby is born.
Of course.
But before I practiced shamisen and I had the students come over and I also go around the school.
So while teaching students, you're also practicing. I think that's what I did wrong. To be a good musician, you need to practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, that's unnecessary things. Necessary things to do.
Indeed.
Yes, yeah.
And which part of Melbourne do you live in?
We live in Brunswick West.
Well, that's excellent sort of area there, not far from Pascoe Vale in the northern suburbs.
Yeah, we always like
Sydney
a north
Road.
side. Yeah.
All right. You've always been in the north side?
Yeah, always.
Excellent. Now, what Australian customs have you taken to?
That's a good question.
Mountain climbing?
Oh, drinking beer maybe?
Drinking beer?
Yeah.
Well, Japanese make wonderful beer as well.
Yeah, that's right. But I used to not like a beer in Japan. I always drink other alcohol, but after I decided to come over, I thought I have to drink a beer in Australia because so many, nice beers in Australia. It's a big part of it.
There are nice beers.
Yeah.
And, how big is your kind of friend group? Pretty big or... Do you miss other people of Japanese background or not really?
I do miss my friends in Japan, but I'm very lucky that I have lots of nice friends here as well. So.
And the music has brought some new friendships in for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have so many friends through the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I should mention now because my colleagues at the Boite put me in touch with you, and that's the Boite's little sign. So, but they have, I think, a club and a website service, and they help artists of different backgrounds.
Yes.
How did they help you? I mean, what steps were there?
Yeah, even I was very
new,
very new
to Australia.
To the Australia. Then, especially the instrument, shamisen was very rare. But then the board always get me to play there, gave me the chance to play.
Continue to give you more and more exposure. Oh,
exactly.
how wonderful.
Yeah, especially they do mixture thing with other musicians. So that's not only myself, but I can meet the other musician as well. And
Yes.
sometimes Indian musician or
Wow.
jazz and so on and so on, so that I got a lot of knowledge through the opportunity about the music.
How wonderful in Australia that we can have so many people of
Yes.
so many different
Yeah.
backgrounds with so few barriers between them.
Yeah, yes.
Do you think we're doing a good job here in Australia?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel no better feeling that's as I'm Japanese here.
Yes.
People, Australian people, always open their mind and interested in other cultures
Yes.
and questioning about and asking me, you know, with their interest,
Yeah.
which is great.
And I noticed that you've played like with a blues man too,
Yeah,
the Japanese instrument. Is that a Japanese instrument?
it is. It
Okay.
is very traditional. Though I mix with the
You mix
blues.
with the different musicians. So that's how the Buat helped you to, you know, not only integrate in the music scene,
Yes.
but also socially.
Yes.
Excellent. Could you tell us a little bit about this instrument now?
Yeah.
We'll be playing it in the next section, but
This
it's
one.
a pig skin or?
It's used to, or not used to, but traditionally use the animal skins.
Yeah. But now we
but,
spare the animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use plastic skin as well.
And the strings are nylon?
Top one's a silk and tetron nylon.
Silk. Wow.
Used to be all silk, but
Yeah. So you've got
these
one
days is-
silk string there.
yeah, that's right.
And,
no flats.
What's that?
No flats.
No frets, yes, of course. So you have to really be strong and hold down the notes.
But yeah, so that we can do a lot of sliding techniques
Oh, I
without
see.
flats. That's a good thing as well.
All right then.
And then 3 strings, and actually I bang the body.
You can bang it as well.
Create the percussive sound, not just the string sound.
How brilliant.
Yeah.
Finally, well, I would call it a plectrum, being a, you know, guitar thing. What's
Yeah.
the name of that?
It's called bati.
Butty. Oh, well, for batting it.
Yeah, batting.
But
yeah.
you strike and manipulate the strings
yeah,
with that.
I hit. So get
How
the
wonderful.
percussive.
And indeed, you do perform regularly, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
And you've probably got a CD or some website. I think the Buat would be the place to people to reference if they want to find out. And I think I better go along to a show soon too. Stick around, come back after the break, because we'll be hearing Narika play the shamisen.
I got my big break about 5 years ago.
My big break came 10 years ago.
I got my break about 8 years ago.
If you're over 50 and have recently had a bone fracture from a minor bump or fall, you may have osteoporosis.
If you've had one break from osteoporosis, there's a good chance you'll have another.
Find out more, talk to your doctor, or call Osteoporosis Australia today.
Don't wait for your next big break.
Two out of 3 toddler pool drownings are caused by open or faulty pool gates. Water, it's only safe while you're watching. Keep watch.
Wow, she looks like she had a big night.
Yeah. Nice glasses, Alice.
Hey, Alice. Do you want me to put the blinds down?
Autism. Change your reactions, change your actions.
Hello, I'm here to let you know that Inline Plus will return from late May on Community TV and here on YouTube and Facebook. We will start off with 4 episodes shot in Adelaide, and then we will move on to some programs from Sydney and Melbourne. If you would like to get involved in our Sydney or Melbourne shoots, please get in touch with us now. For further information on the show, please visit inlineplus.net. Until then, we look forward to seeing you then, and bye for now.
Welcome back for our last segment of Migration Stories. We have Noriko Tandano, who migrated here and brought us also the wonderful skills on shamisen, the instrument. Thank you very much. Play on. Magnificent. Now tell me about that piece. Is that pop piece, as it were? Japanese popular song?
It's traditional folk songs. It's called Tabaruzaka.
Now, is that sort of a little bit related to the kind of idea of a raga or something that you introduce the musical theme and then bring it back later in the piece?
Yeah, it's actually, I put the interval parts with my improvisation.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, actually this thing is about the battle between new government of Japan and the samurai group.
Indeed.
So that's when the samurai,
those battles were happening.
Yeah, happened. So that's, I put my feeling of the battle scene in there as
Indeed.
a
And the sadness that would be such a battle, such a battle inside Japan of the old and the new.
Yes, that's right.
Wonderfully expressed in music. Well, how wonderful. Thank you so much. But perhaps another piece. I heard you playing a bluesy kind of a short piece. Just a minute maybe to take us out.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Noriko.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Noriko. And thank you for watching today, Migration Stories for NAT Chat. Please do tune in again next week.
It's shave time! Sign up now!
Live streamed from Echuca each week, this is MELfeed.video, a different sort of TV.
Alleluia. Om Mani Padme Om. Allah Satnam
You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking again with Kate Murray, and she's the head organiser of the Sunday Assembly in Melbourne. Last week, we spoke about the spiritual pathway which led her to the Sunday Assembly. This week, we'll look at what the Sunday Assembly is all about. Kate, where the seeds grew for the Sunday Assembly, it tended to be a bit around atheism. Can you re-illuminate that for us?
So the Sunday Assembly itself as an organisation?
No, your experience with atheism, yes.
So when I first became an atheist, I went looking for atheist community, and I found that there wasn't really a place for me there. I'm sure there's a place for many, but for me, I found it was very anti-theist rather than atheist. For example, I was told that, Christians were dumb because they believed in the things they believed in. I was a Christian not that long ago. I hadn't gotten any smarter by just declaring myself an atheist. I hadn't gone up in IQ points. So I was pretty sure that that wasn't the path I wanted to go down. And a lot of atheism, they define themselves by their opposition to something. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find something that I was for, not just against. So I started looking out for conversations and dialogue within atheism that similarly spoke to that idea of, okay, maybe we all don't believe in God or certain types of God. What do we actually believe in, and how can we work on that and build on that? So people like Chris Stedman, Elaine de Botton, a lot of interfaith type of stuff as well.
Yes.
And Sunday Assembly was one of those. Yeah.
Interfaith, did you ever get involved with the interfaith movement at all?
No, I heard about it after I'd become an atheist, and I didn't really think there was a place for atheism in interfaith at first, but Chris Stedman obviously works exactly in that field. He represents atheism in interfaith work. I guess the difference for me is that a lot of interfaith stuff comes from the idea that we all believe, we all have faith in some way, and takes that for granted and then goes from there, whereas I think Sunday Assembly kind of does it different, where it says, it doesn't necessarily say none of us believe in anything or that you shouldn't believe in anything. It doesn't say anything like that, but it says we all know, we don't know what comes after, but we definitely know that we have this one life because we're living it now. So the evidence is already here. So let's try and live this one life the best way that we can. And that was appealing to me.
Well, that leads us into the charter.
Yes.
For the Sunday Assembly, which has 3 points. The first of those is live better. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, live better is just something that I think everybody wants to do. I've never really met anyone that said, absolutely everything is perfect, I hope nothing ever changes from today until I die. We all want something better. We want to better ourselves. We want to better the community around us. We want to help each other. So Sunday Assembly tries to find out what that means for you as an attendee, and then help you to fulfill whatever that might be.
So how does it collect that information, put it together and turn it into action, or hasn't it quite got there yet?
It's a good question, yeah. It's Sunday Assembly altogether started in London in January last year. So it's only been together for a year, and in that time it's gone from one congregation in London to about 40 around the world. It's had a massive growth spurt that it's grown out of its clothes. It's got nothing to wear at this point. So I think things like that, people are trying to formulate better structures for how we can best do that. But on the ground level, it's each assembly addresses it in its own way. So in Melbourne, we like to think of ourselves as a hub for people to get their own projects or their own whatever off the ground. So we have a lot of volunteers, we've got a lot of people with different skills, if someone comes along and says, you know, I want to do something in the community, I think it will better the community, we have the manpower and we can help them achieve that. On a personal level, it's just a matter of, you know, working within that social network, making friends, building community, and then utilising that however you feel is right.
Can you give an example at this early stage of one Live Better project?
We've had a few different things. One recently that we had was something called kindness cards.
Okay,
so someone's idea was to, very similar to the pay it forward system. So we gave out kindness cards, and then everybody had to, so kindness cards have something like, gives a random stranger a compliment, or, you know, hug someone for at least 90 seconds, or, you know, just little things that you could do to brighten someone's day or make the world slightly better for a minute or two. Everyone had those for a month, and they had to go out and complete their homework, but then they had to pass it on, and it began this pass it on system of kindness, where hopefully there's heaps of people out there giving each other compliments, smiling at strangers, and, you know, all of this. So that was the idea, and we helped put that into practice to see what would happen.
And there was an enthusiastic response to that, to taking it up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, well, I think projects like that, especially, that's so simple, for the individual engaging in it, you actually think about the ways that you may or may not affect others. You realise that smiling at a stranger or paying them a random person a compliment makes such a big difference, and yet it costs you nothing.
Yeah. I'm not a stranger, but I'm going to smile at you because we're out of time for the moment. We'll be back in a moment.
Every time you shop, the choices you make affect our community. It is important to select Australian products made by Aussie-owned companies. Our food security means quality and peace of mind. Your purchasing power keeps your dollars multiplying in our economy, keeping jobs, profits and decisions being made right here, which is better for your children. So the next time you buy, look for the AusBuy logo. It makes all the difference.
It's always been my dream to represent Australia in the Olympics. Epilepsy affects nearly 250,000 Australians. Like me, most people have their seizures controlled with medication. Even today, people with epilepsy face incredible discrimination, but this prejudice is just another obstacle we can overcome. We're just as capable as anyone else, and often we have to be stronger. I promise I'll do my best for Australia. Will you do your best for me?
We reckon one of the most powerful things in the world is this sausage. Because a sausage can do just about anything. It helps people to walk, see and hear, supports families after fire, drought and flood, and even helps plant trees in our community. Our sausages are working to cure cancer, helping farmers in tough times, and connecting people who are new to a community. And at the same time that they're doing all that, they're nurturing the leaders of tomorrow while building friendships that last a lifetime. Yep, these humble sausages are more powerful than you can believe. They're working wonders in our community. And at Lions, so can you. Lions Australia, we serve more than sausages.
I was born with shaver hands. And you were born with a cranium that never stops sprouting hair. It's time that we joined forces. Sign up now.
Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Kate Murray, and Kate's the head organiser of the Sunday Assembly in Melbourne. And we're talking about the charter of the Sunday Assembly. We've covered the first of the 3-point charter, and that is to live better. The second of those, as you well know, is help often. What does helping often look like?
Well, basically, when we help each other, well, altruism really, isn't it? When we help each other, it makes us feel better. It makes the person we help feel better. Ultimately, it's a win-win situation. So we encourage everyone to help often. What that looks like within Sunday Assembly is things like, for example, this weekend, a whole group of people from Melbourne Sunday Assembly are going down to give blood together, and then they'll go out to lunch. You know, a social outing as well as something meaningful. We've had people doing, you know, rubbish pickups, food bank, what else? Sales, you know, all this sort of stuff that raise money for charity, fun runs. So helping often is about putting back into the community and trying to become not just a part of the Sunday Assembly community, but a part of the Melbourne community as a whole.
Yes.
And, you know, broaden that network and try and, yeah, help others in order to help ourselves in a way.
So this charter, well, we'll get back to helping often in a minute, but where was the charter drawn up and by whom?
Yeah, so Sunday Assembly, when it started last year, was started by 2 comedians in London. Not as a joke, obviously. And they were both atheists, still are. Although I should say that not everyone who runs Sunday Assembly is atheist. We have actually people of various beliefs that help run Sunday Assembly in Melbourne. So they were the ones who came up with all the foundations for it. That motto was already in place by the time I joined up. Yes. But I think that it's broad enough for me to agree with, like for everyone to be able to agree with it. Live better, help, often, wonder more. They're things that fundamentally all of us want to do.
Yes.
Catchy too. One of them used to work in sales, so that doesn't hurt. But yeah, basically they got together and they were trying to look for the positive aspects of godless living. Now that they, between themselves, both agreed that they didn't believe in God, how could they then turn that into something positive that could influence their lives?
Okay. There's a sort of a ring in here about your experience in St Kilda with the Baptist Church, the community, the whole feel of it. That runs through it. It's quite strong. And as you said, the backgrounds of people in the Sunday Assembly is diverse. There's probably quite a few people with your sort of background. Have you discovered?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, there's a lot of different reasons why people come to Sunday Assembly, but there's certainly a fair percentage of people who come from religion and have that nostalgia for the community of church.
Yes.
And so then they come to Sunday Assembly, as I did when I first went to one. The first one I attended was run by Pippa Evans in Melbourne. And I went very sceptical because I heard the term atheist church and I thought, if they're going to preach atheism to me, I'm going to sit at a chair up the back, you know, just in case.
Yes.
And I was absolutely delighted that that didn't happen and that it was predominantly about community and about bettering yourself, rather than saying this is right and this is wrong and this is the way you should live. There was none of that, and there was all of the good bits that I remembered from Baptist church. So, and I didn't realise I'd been missing that until I had that experience as well. And then I thought, yeah, I want to do this again. I missed that. I love that community.
So really, the way you're describing it, you could be a devout theist and still be part of the Sunday Assembly if there's no sort of atheist onslaught of anti-God and everything else.
Yeah, as long as, I mean, yeah, that's right, because Sunday Assembly doesn't really have a common premise for its actions or for why we're motivated in life. It's the only one is that we want to live the best life we can. So if you disagree with that, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But
won't enjoy life much either.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, we've had quite a few Christians come along, and some have said that Sunday Assembly will ultimately fail because without God, you know, there can be nothing kind of thing, which is fair enough, that's their opinion. But a lot of them have said, look, this has given me some really good life tips for how to be a better person, and it hasn't said anything that I disagree with. So they go to church 3 weeks out of the month, and then they come to Sunday assembly one Sunday of the month.
It sounds like a place too that you might have a lot of humanists gathering around as well. Are you familiar with any of them?
Yeah, I think it's more of it. I think the term humanist church would probably suit it a lot more than atheist church, to be honest. But because that is what it's about. It's about helping others and about the human condition. And I think that's, for me, one of the big things about forming this group is outside of church or temple or synagogue or whatever you go to, where do we go to ask the questions about the human condition, about what it is to be an emotional being living through this life, and how do we face the challenges, and how do we celebrate the rewards? And I think, you know, Sunday Assembly is trying to create a forum for those discussions outside of religion.
And quite effectively doing so, I'd suggest, because those 3 points, and we'll discuss them a bit later, but like helping often, as you said, has got that altruistic ring to it, which has its logical roots in a lot of the Christian faith, at least.
Yeah.
So they'd find a home.
Yeah, and I've definitely, we have stolen from the format of church, and I know that some people have been upset by that. Personally, I see it as a compliment to church, because the bits that I love about church, I love about Sunday Assembly, and we've used those bits because they are useful and they work, and because it's beneficial.
Singing together being one of them.
Definitely.
But the time itself is not singing at the moment. It's out of its song. We'll be back in a moment.
Here is some brilliant news for adults who have difficulties with spelling, reading a newspaper or phone bill, or writing letters and emails. It can be easier to improve your reading and writing skills than to keep putting it off. Take the plunge. Call the Reading Writing Hotline, 1300 655 06.
1300 655 06.
It could change your life.
Most of us experience life's ups and downs, but we can always appreciate the finer details that make life worth living. But for 1 in 5 of us, mental illness can make us lose sight of the big picture. That's when Paran Mission can lend a helping hand. We've been caring for the community for over 60 years, finding a place for people with no place. Show your support and stand up for mental illness. Visit our website and make a donation today.
Which one are you going to get? This one, lady. Boy. Oh, you can't. Just a minute. Okay. All right.
Just needs a bit of discipline. Can I help you with your bags?
Thank you.
Autism. Change your reactions, change your actions.
If you choose to drink then drive,
you could ruin lives.
Someone else's,
your family's,
or your own.
Choose not to instead.
The right choice could save someone's life.
Proud supporters of safety in our community.
GMCU and Southern Cross Austereo.
I can't conquer blood cancer on my own. I need your help. Sign up now.
Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity. And we're speaking with Kate Murray. She's the head organiser for the Sunday Assembly in Melbourne. And Kate, we were talking about the common ground between some of the assembly activities and church, which offends some people, but one of the common grounds, I think, is singing, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have group singing, we have a live band, and it's very Hillsong maybe. Everyone stands up and, you know, very animated. Yes. But our songs, of course, aren't hymns. Our songs are Queen or Van Morrison or the Beatles. So yeah, so they're modern pop songs that everybody knows, but it's because it's not just about the lyrics, although we try to get songs with a good meaning, of course. It's also about the activity of getting up together and singing together and becoming one unit of joyous celebration, basically, and having a bit of fun, because I think sometimes we get a bit serious, and it's good to stand up and be a bit ridiculous and have a boogie in the aisles and realise that life is about fun as well as seriousness.
And the interesting thing about singing is that they've, I don't know whether it's recent, but they've discovered that singing together, you live longer. It's really actually better for older people. It actually improves the quality of their life. Don't worry about how good their singing is, but the fact of them actually singing together, they actually become integrated and coordinated by getting the tone right, by matching their voice with others. And so it's got quite a health-giving component to it as well.
Well, you've struck on something interesting there, because one of the ways that we have selected what bits of church we use and what we don't is that we have taken only those that have some scientific evidence of being beneficial to people.
Okay.
So singing together is one. A moment of reflection is another one.
Yes.
Because taking control of our minds and knowing how to slow and empty our minds, especially these days, something we don't do very often. We don't, even when we're walking to the train station or whatever, we'll have our iPod in and be listening to music, and then you switch to check your Facebook, and you don't give a moment for quiet reflection.
That's right.
And it's hugely beneficial to mental health and stuff like that. So yeah, we do try to select things that have some empirical evidence to show that they actually will help you.
Yes, and it's one way of getting people, like contemplation and meditation are renowned for their health benefits, but a lot of people, if you present them with that option, will say, oh, my head is not shaven, whereas this, they can use it without having that opposition.
And the other thing is, we do have stuff like that where people otherwise might say, oh no, meditation, that doesn't sound like my cup of tea, sounds like whatever. But when they're in that hall and everyone's doing it, oh yeah, all right, and they might afterwards say, wow, actually that was really good. I didn't realise that that was what I needed. So it's also about trying out new things that we might not otherwise try. But when we get in this group where there is this broader boundaries of experience, we can try out new things, and we might find things that work really well for us that we just wouldn't have approached otherwise.
Fascinating. It's like it's a broader church of humanity, really, isn't it? Unfortunate the word church, but it really is a church of humanity. It's marvellous. There's two aspects which have got the scientific sort of basis. One is the meditation type activity, the singing activity. What are the others? Are there any others that you've come across?
We have things like personal testimony and readings. So again, our readings are like the songs where we get people to get up and have readings, but usually it's poetry or their favourite lyrics or a Dr. Seuss book even we've had, and things that they find inspiration in that they want to share with others.
Right.
But things like personal testimony, I must admit, very difficult. I did one recently, but so cleansing in a way, and so lightening.
Yes.
I think that we are sometimes so fearful of judgment, and we judge others, and we're worried that we're going to get judged, and we bottle ourselves up. And it can be quite surprising when you stand up in front of people and you say, look, this is me. I've done bad things, I've done good things, I'm trying my best. It's surprising how many people actually don't judge you and turn around and go, good for you, you're doing great, and we all have troubles. And for those people in the crowd who are suffering their own troubles, are sitting there going, oh, thank goodness someone feels the same.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yes, that sharing is very powerful. So there are three key points. So the last of your charter is to wonder more. So in a way, that's part of a reflection of wondering more, of having a look and looking at scientific outcomes, etc. What other sort of wondering do you encourage?
So Wonder More is the section of it where we have to remember that life, we're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to have this one life that we have. For whatever reasons you think that we're here, it's an amazing and wonderful opportunity that we have to live in this world, to meet other people, to have education, to explore the universe inside and outside. And I think that Wonder More is about reminding ourselves, about putting ourselves in the context of the world and the universe and just how intricate and beautiful everything is. So yeah, in ways like reflection can do that, you know, but it's about celebration as well, because Sunday Assembly is about community, but it's also about celebrating the fact that we're alive and the fact that we have all the opportunities that we do, especially in Australia.
Here's the parallel between that and the religious perspective of contemplation and opening to the face of God in the face of potential and in the face of beauty and all of that agape stuff. That's hanging off the end of it as well, and people need it.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, I think two people could be looking at a sunset and one will say it's beautiful because of God, and the other will say it's beautiful because it's meaningless and it's random. But both of them agree that that sunset is beautiful, and that's the common ground that we're trying to work with.
And Kate, the common ground has been right through this program as time.
Yeah.
We're out of that, but I'd really like to thank you a lot for going into your spiritual history in an open way, and also into the Sunday Assembly, which sounds fascinating. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all for our program today. We'll be back next week. Bye for now.
Baha'u'llah, Shanti Om, Allahu.
So how have things been going?
When a young person is diagnosed with cancer, it affects their family, their friends, their entire world. Red Kite supports young people with cancer and those around them in real ways.
Yeah, hi, it's Michael. Yeah, I'm at the hospital.
We rely on your generosity to make a positive difference in the lives of thousands of families every year. We can't always make things better, but with your help, we can lighten the load.
Every time you shop, the choices you make affect our community. It is important to select Australian products made by Aussie-owned companies. Our food security means quality and peace of mind. Your purchasing power keeps your dollars multiplying in our economy, keeping jobs, profits and decisions being made right here, which is better for your children.
So the next time you buy, look for the AusBuy logo. It makes all the difference.
Hallelujah. Om Mani Padme
Welcome. You're watching Harmony and Diversity. And today we're speaking with Vincent Peel. He's a former Catholic priest and now a grief counsellor. Thanks for coming in, Vincent.
Pleasure to be here.
Vincent, I think it would be safe to say that you started life as a Catholic. How did that happen? You were born, and then what happened?
Well, I've got to thank my parents for that. Born a Catholic,
yes.
Raised a Catholic, went to a Catholic school, was shaped by that in my values and beliefs, which I still hold.
Mm-hmm.
And the church is still just part of my DNA. My faith is nurtured and nourished by it, and it would be difficult for me to live without that.
Yes.
And that influence of the church and the mystery of God and Our Lady definitely came from my mother in particular, who was a convert to Catholicism.
And that conversion, was that solid? Did she hold with her?
Very solid, to the point that when her first boy was killed by a train at the age of 7, she went to the local parish priest after the funeral and said she'd like to donate a statue in his memory, to which the parish priest said no. And then my mother came out with quite a number of unclerical expletives, which relocated the parish priest to a place that certainly wasn't heaven, and took her outside the externals of the church, but the interior faith that brought her into the Catholic Church remained with her, so that every Friday, without fail, rain, snow, hail, Mum would always get the train from Bomb Beach into St Francis Church to go to the novena and benediction for Our Lady and to say the Memorare prayer and touch the icon of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and which has remained to me to this day.
That's quite powerful, quite a powerful background.
And it also presents a very poignant maternal image of the divine mystery.
And from your father's perspective, what was his?
My father, like most men, probably tended to more internalise his faith. He was like most Catholics, you front up, you pay up, and you shut up.
Was he a regular mass attender? Or was
no, both my parents were. And I remember in primary school we had a mission given by 2 Franciscan friars, and they said, if you want something bad enough, pray for it and you'll get it. So, being a fairly naive 6-year-old boy, I took these 2 Franciscan friars at their word, and after 4 years of hard work on my knees, there didn't seem to be much response to my prayer. And then some time later, I was in leaving certificate at that stage in 1967, my father started to come back to the church for Sunday Mass, and then by matriculation, Mum was coming every Sunday.
Right.
Dad would go to Holy Communion, but Mum wouldn't. 12 months after that, after working in the National Bank for a year, I entered Corpus Christi College, Werribee, and Archbishop Knox, who'd arrived in Melbourne after the long reign of Archbishop Daniel Mannix, came down to celebrate the annual family Mass, and that was the first time I saw my mother go to Holy Communion.
Right.
But her expression of the faith had now come more into the sacramental line of Sunday Mass and the Eucharist. Prior to that, and because of the rejection she felt of the humanity of this priest, was simply that, well, me and Our Lady will do it together and I'll get on with it.
Right. And that's sort of set a bit of a mould for yourself. You're very attached to Our Lady to this day, is that
yes,
right?
Yes.
And how does that manifest itself?
Always by saying the Memorare, Hail Marys, thinking of people who I might be praying for during the day, and just offering them up to Our Lady.
Yes. So let's go back to the first year of your seminary. What was life like in a seminary in those days?
It was exciting. I think I may have overdosed on the sound of music at first. This idyllic existence of heaven here on earth which I soon found out after the first week was going to be a long way off. I encountered 200 rules, 100 other seminarians from first year, known as the rhetorician's year, through to fourth year, basically 4 years of philosophy, 200 rules, a regimented way of life that's basically the formation had been laid down at the Council of Trent.
Right.
So here was I in 1970, living a lifestyle that had been predominantly shaped by the 800 or so bishops that had met for the Council of Trent at Trent in the middle of the 16th century. But 3 years later that was to radically change as a result of the Second Vatican Council, which began in 62 under Pope John the 23rd and finished under the papacy of Paul VI in 1965.
Yeah, that opens an interesting perspective, doesn't it? Because you've got this ancient rules and then you're coming up to this big change. Did that impact you, the Vatican II change?
We'd read so much about Vatican II that we failed to realise that this sleeping giant was basically at the back door. It came about particularly in seminary formation when Archbishop Knox, who'd been in the diplomatic corps, came to Melbourne in 1967, and he proceeded to bring in the changes of the Second Vatican Council with in a fairly fast manner.
Yes.
Corpus Christi College Werribee and Glen Waverley were both closed in 1972. In 1973, Corpus Christi College Clayton opened, and there were 200 students entered there in a new style of seminary formation that was still in Kimby's, that hadn't been tried or tested.
Right.
And so going from 200 rules basically down to just a couple of rules that make sure you attend Mass and go to lectures. And I well remember one cynical old parish priest coming to give a talk to the students and looking at the sanctuary lamp and saying, well, why have you got that? Is it just to light your cigarettes?
There's another rule, and it's called time. We've run out of it. We'll be back in a moment.
You teach us strangers are dangerous. But someone we know is a much more likely threat. You teach us strangers are dangerous. But who will help when you're not around? Create a world without unnecessary fear. Prepare, don't scare.
Behind your favourite team, there's another team. At all levels, in all codes, sports trainers are working to make sport safer. Sports trainers learn injury prevention techniques from doctors and other health professionals so they can provide the right first aid when the going gets tough. If your team could do with a sports trainer, maybe it's time you got a little closer to the action. Find out how you can become a sports trainer. Sports Medicine Australia, providing the team behind the team.
Transports of Distant Delight is a mixed selection of transportation pictures from here and there and almost everywhere, but not quite. Some quirky, some mundane, some from the past, perhaps reflecting a transit system that has vanished into history, and some from thriving transport entities that continue to endure despite the constant pressures from the all-pervasive motor car. Enjoy.
Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Vincent Peel. He's a former Catholic priest and now a grief counsellor. Vincent, when we left, we were talking about this elderly priest who had this comment to make about the sanctuary light.
So I remember this parish priest coming to talk to the students at Clayton. He was a senior priest in the archdiocese, very much a man's man, and he was brought up in a time and a world that had radically altered since the Second Vatican Council. And while the externals were adopted, the mentality was you keep the rules and the rules will keep you. So to see students in civies having optional times for mass due to studies, and then looking at the sanctuary lamp and remarking, well, I guess that's only there so students can light their cigarettes. Revealed a tension between the pre-Vatican II clergy and the clergy who were being formed as a result of the requirements of the Second Vatican Council.
And the longer you'd been in the pre-Vatican II clergy model, yes, the longer you'd been there, the worse the effect would have been, I guess.
And often too, that pre-Vatican II model was more about maintenance than mission. Keep the bolts of the local factory running and the plant will run well.
How did that dictum of you keep the rules and the rules will keep you, how did you see that working? There's some little traps in there you could trip over.
Well, it didn't work. That's the strange thing. But you've got to realise that these rules came from higher authority and also from those who'd obviously kept the rules because it took them places. So if you're fairly compliant and subservient and you might have a subliminal career choice in mind, you can go places.
Yes.
But going out as a young curate is, again, another cynical old gentleman said, well, curates are just mice training to be rats, which wasn't saying much about the parish priest.
My goodness. So to say there was tension was pretty much an understatement.
Well, part of the tension was that you were appointed to a parish and to a priest and to live in a presbytery that was totally unknown to you. So you were introduced to this priest you'd never met before, but undoubtedly you'd heard either wonderful things about him or less wonderful things about him, and he would tell you about the parish and the school and what your job was, which was basically to obey him first, and then secondly to go out and knock on doors and celebrate the sacraments, do the baptisms, marriages, funerals. And on one occasion, I lived with a parish priest who I think worked on the principle, wising if you've got a canary, told me that if I was going to be late for the evening meal, I would break my fast and he would have to say the evening mass. So again, the emphasis was on the rules.
The rules, yes.
And in that same parish, I thought, well, the youth group need a fundraiser. We'll have a Sunday car wash. And after it was all over, the parish priest reminded me that I'd broken the rules of the Sabbath by doing work on the Sabbath. So there was this tension between the pre-Vatican II mentality and the emerging insights and understanding of how does the Church proclaim its gospel in this new age which had been inaugurated by John the 23rd by calling together the Second Vatican Council. So what was springtime for a younger clergy was something that an older clergy, I think, felt quite challenged by.
Absolutely.
I mean, my first 3 Sundays at celebrating Mass in one parish, I was reminded that I didn't have the ciborium right on top of the corporal, the square piece of linen where the sacred vessels sat. And so that was brought to my attention. And then the second Sunday it came to my attention that I'd left the sanctuary for the sign of peace, which I'd replied to the parish priest, well, Father, I don't have rubber arms. And then as it was Lent, I came out to give Holy Communion as we didn't have special ministers. He said, I've noticed you're wearing a purple stole and the rules stipulate you must wear a white stole in the administration of the Blessed Sacrament. And I said, well, in that case, Father, would you like me to take the purple stole off from under the chasuble from where I've been saying Mass? So he wandered off a bit perplexed.
This adherence to rules, that didn't encourage lateral thinking in any way, I wouldn't have thought.
Oh, you could have as much lateral thinking as you like. so long as you didn't exercise it.
Yes, of course, that's the difference. In our earlier conversation, you mentioned something about sort of parishioner response as well, I think to do with helping street kids or something. What was that?
In my last parish, there were a number of street kids, and I felt my understanding of the Gospel, the 25th chapter of St Matthew's Gospel about the hungry and the homeless, I felt a responsibility to try and help these kids. I didn't necessarily understand them, but I felt that the Gospel said I needed to do something to help them. And when it came to my attention that some of the parishioners were saying, well, we're not putting money on the plate because we believe you're giving money to these street kids. And I said, well, how else are they going to eat? But they may be spending the money on drugs and booze and God knows what. And I said, well, how do I know you're not doing that? I said, look, I don't know the disguises of God today. But I said, I don't think I'd like to meet God in the disguise of one of these street people who I'd helped and failed in the call of the gospel. And to remind them that most of the money that I gave came out of my own pocket.
And just talking about coming out of your own pocket, that is not a grand income in any event, is it?
Well, in school chaplaincy, students, particularly secondary students, would say to me, well, why did you become a priest, Father? And I'd say, oh, for the money.
Which, of course, is not the case. So that story is a little bit troubling in a way. Is that indicative of the attitudes of a normal parish members?
I can only speak for myself. I've met some wonderful priests who'd give the shirt off their back. And I've met other clergy who wouldn't give you the steam off their coffee. And again,
steam off your coffee. You usually have coffee when you're in a time break, and we'll go for one right now.
Good idea.
We'll be back in a moment.
We've all seen this one time or another. We may even have done it ourselves. But inhaling balloon gas is very dangerous and can be fatal. The helium in balloon gas acts as an asphyxiant, and when you inhale, it displaces the oxygen in your lungs. Balloon gas is safe in balloons and when you release it in a well-ventilated area and in a safe manner. So the next time you see some sucker about to inhale balloon gas, or you think it's going to be a laugh, stop and be gas-wise.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. Thrown in anger like this, without warning, without any gloves, it can be deadly. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes grunt to throw it, it takes guts to walk away.
This bank is helping to save lives. Every year, 500,000 Victorians have no idea where their next meal is coming from. Food Bank Victoria works with farmers, supermarkets and manufacturers to make sure their surplus stock ends up here, to be distributed to those in need. But all of this is not enough. Right now, this bank needs interest, your interest, to support Victorians in need. If you can help, visit foodbankvictoria.org.au.
Tick, 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 fashion.
Tick, 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 fun.
Tick, 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 food.
Tick, 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 festivals.
All make up 15 fabulous minutes.
In a half-hour special.
Presented to you by Jacqueline and Steve.
Every week. Time's up.
Welcome back. You're watching Harmony and Diversity, and we're speaking with Vincent Peel. He's a former Catholic priest and a grief counsellor. We were talking about steam off the coffee and generosity. That sort of addressed the priests, but what about the parishioners? That sort of attitude seemed to be a bit narrow in saying you shouldn't be helping your
It was only a small group of people, because I think it's important to realise that in parishes, you're dealing with people, and people have different agendas, even in faith, so that power can be an important issue for people in a parish. And some people just like to use that power to find a place and a position in the parish, be it wanted or unwanted.
Right. Where does Jesus fit into that?
Good question. Ultimately, it's expressed sacramentally, prayerfully, in the body of Christ in the local parish church, and ideally lived out in the works of charity and mercy, and more importantly, lived personally in the lives of the individuals who come together. And there are many Catholic parishes and clergy today, for example, that do the most wonderful things in helping people that weren't around when I was a young priest. And the consciousness of young people today in helping people in need, I think is extraordinary. We can be so quick to criticise young people today because of drugs, sex and rock and roll, which is certainly around in my time. But the consciousness of young people today, I think, has a greater awareness about the needs of people, not only here, but as a result that we're now living in a global world and not the village that I grew up in. Exactly.
And in the older days, not the olden days, the older days, there was a lot of either brothers and priests involved in the church activities in the world. That's changed a lot, hasn't it?
It has. Primary schools, up until the middle of the 1950s, most of the educational facilities, universities, hospitals, welfare institutes, caring agencies were staffed, 96% of those facilities were staffed by brothers, priests and nuns.
Right.
Today it's about 0.04%. So from my perspective, what's missing significantly is that particularly our hospital and schools are now sacramentally bankrupt. When I was at school at De La Salle in the 1960s, we had 5 chaplains. You went to confession every first Thursday, you went to Mass every first Friday, the clergy would come in, and it was just a given. But it also laid the foundations down too, that gave you something to hang on to.
Yes.
And that the priest was available, where the parish model today is radically changing because of the decline of vocations to the priesthood and religious life in Australia. And you've only got to look at the number of migrant clergy that are now running parishes in the Australian church, and the number of parishes that are now being amalgamated. In the 80s, I went to Ivanhoe Parish, which consisted of 3 parishes, and there were 5 priests between those 3 parishes. And in my own parish of Mary Immaculate Ivanhoe, we had 6 masses just on Saturday and Sunday.
Good heavens.
I think today they now have about 5 masses overall for those 3 parish communities. And I think there's 1.5 priests there. So to get round to those parish families, sacramental programs, it's just not there.
So it's a lot of the effort is now falling on the laity.
The laity, and in many cases, our faith communities have shifted from the parish into the schools.
Okay.
And so the schools are now becoming the basis of a faith community because of a shortage of vocation, so that big feast days will be celebrated. But the days when I started off at St Mary's Geelong, where you went to a couple of schools several days a week for class masses, retreats, confession, one-to-one interviews, that's now the stuff of history.
So, and this is an unfair question to ask out of the blue, but...
Well, you might get an unfair answer.
Well, thank you. That's fair trade. It seems there's an evolution happening, and as someone who's involved in it, where do you think that's going? Can you anticipate where it might go to?
If I was the Holy Spirit, I could, but even my powers are limited. I think the social upheaval of the 60s and 70s is still impacting on the church. So, for example, one area, the right and role of women in the church and the world, has radically changed across the world. Just even in the political sphere, we've had our first female Prime Minister, we've had women as premiers, we now have women on corporate boards. And yet, strangely enough, in the Australian Catholic Church, the first feminists, if you want to call them that, were these heroic nuns who came out from Ireland. Mary Aitkenhead, who set up the St Vincent public hospital systems that were there for the poor. The Mercy nuns. These were profoundly strong, gutsy, powerful women. You think of Mary MacKillop, who bowed to an excommunication ban by Archbishop Shields of Adelaide and accepted that as just part of her cross. Look at the legacy she's bequeathed to the Australian Catholic Church. And we talk about women's rights today.
Yes.
I think we need to step back in time in the Australian Catholic Church and recognise the profound and powerful influence that many of these women had.
Yes. Yes, that tends to have been buried, doesn't it? And a visit back might satisfy some of the more wild-eyed feminists looking at it at the moment.
And some of these wild-eyed feminists, like Germaine Greer, were actually taught by nuns at the Presentation Convent down at Garden Vale.
That perhaps might explain their wild-eyedness, but in any event, we won't go there. Thanks very much, Vincent.
Look, it's been a pleasure to be here with you.
I'd like to speak to you again, so you'll be back next week?
Certainly.
Thank you very much. We'll be back next week with a further interview with Vincent Peel.
Baha'u'llah, Shanti Om, Allahu
Would your life be different if you chose to swim between the flags instead of that unpatrolled beach? If you'd checked the depth before you dived into shallow water? If you didn't swim under the influence of alcohol and chose not to swim at night? If you only listened to the lifesavers' warnings?
Make the right choice this summer. Enjoy our beautiful beaches. Always swim between the red and yellow flags.
If we can't see you, we can't save you.
For interesting and informative interviews, join us for NAT Chat Monday nights at 8. Live streamed from Echuca each week, this is MELfeed.video, a different sort of TV.
The following program carries an MA classification and may contain adult themes and coarse language. MELfeed.video advises that it is suitable for viewers aged 15 plus.
Panther. I'm Panther, big black, who said pet? Said musk, hair shine, slick pounds, pad. I shine, tiger, burn bright, said boxer. Leads me now up stairway, built body of builder, muscle up now, rip. I stretch now, I jump out of me now, I jump right back now. Arms and legs now, then I am torn out. Somebody does this to me, now pulls me out, I am pulled out. Who does me now? What does me now? What to do? Who does me? Somebody sticks knife into me now and knives me. I wrong me now, knife in my head now, torn in blood, bloody. I'm done in now, oh do me, I do this to me. I had torn off now and gap, where at mine now a gap. That somebody said I am kill and killed now, I'm hunter. I get me now and get now, what does me? I do the knife in head now, here comes. I am killer now, hunter, I kill me. I am half lady, cut in half lady with a knife in me. I'm only head torn of body, said head speaks now, nobody peers said what head of head. I trap a cat set, can't get pull out head, jolly baby, lolly baby, bear trap slice of now, hard head lady hunter, tells me now, cuts me head and knife now, head tears off, I tear throat, I hunter do me, I kill pink rabbit mister, who kills me, I do me, I kill me, said to starve me, a tear of skull now, Scully said what panther does me, I kills now, what butcher, mister that's mean. Out now, tear head, out carry, kill back now, safari, I'm torn away from me. Who does that to me? I do me. I tear out head, eyes out now, because I do wrong now. To me, I have to change me, body comes away. Way only head now, tear me, wicker man, in wicked basket, kills me now, neck long, a longer head face, comes back me, I werewolf girl now, go, hairy growl now. My teeth grow, fangs now, blood in my mouth and on my fingers. Smear open now, trickle ducky. Oh, icky wick now, my tongue red and long and longer. I break words now, I eat bloody arms. Wolf now to me, a body a tear. Word torn and sliced now, at a GI open chest knife. Chest to tear my heart out and cry. Now and cried out, I do me now. I said anger ever so. What said now? Something breaks me and tears me down. I opened mouth now, said lady on edge. Shelf now, doll on knife. What lifts me out, play knife now on 5 finger. I hit target now all around me, I kill me. I just kill me now. Tear head, I head, overhead mask now, tear me head, not my head. Now, not me, not me, not anybody. I step into me, I cut out. What tells me now? They tell me, well, wolf, Harry, that I did that it's me and not me now. Now, panther head, cut off body. Who kills that? Who did that? Who killed me? I wrong me. What is it did that? What happens to me now? Angry, I anger. My body tear off now online, said headless. Rider who tears me, said head, no panther. Who kills me now? I do me. What tears half lady, cut in half now, I slice me. Who does me? Who attacks me? Somebody and somebody. I do me, I do this, I admit me, I say me that I do this here. I do me, werewolf, girl, lady wolf, who cuts me in half. Panther head torn off, tit a tat now. What didn't do or love me, or ever don't you love me? I get me what I do here. Just say that I say that a yes to me. I do this and said panther, who is killed now? Who kills me? I do me, I do what exactly? Knife in head. I did that. It was I did that. I do that to me each round. When I come around, I do me over and over and kill and unkill me. Get me, unget me, to get into me and out of me. Get into me and out of me. Arms, legs into body. Arms, legs out of me. I step in and out. I am panther, head, no head now. I kill me, unkill me, I kill me, then I unkill me. Werewolf girl, lady, half and half now. Panther done in who did me, I do me and undo me. I kill me and unkill me.
We want to show you what's dangerous about this river, but we can't. That's the problem. You can't see ice-cold water, snags like tree branches or strong currents. So in enjoying our rivers, remember, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol around water, never swim alone, and learn how to save a life. Our rivers are beautiful, but more Australians drown here than anywhere else. It's simple. Respect the river. Head to royallifesaving.com.au/respect the river for more information.
Behind every great athlete, there is a great support network. Australian Athletes with a Disability and Wheelchair Sports Australia help athletes realise their full potential.
Gonna go from 3. Yes!
No matter their ability, we're there to support them. Sporting opportunities for all abilities. For more information, visit sports.org.au.
Classifications let you know about the content of movies and computer games, so you can make informed choices. G tells you the content is suitable for general viewing and playing. PG means parental guidance is recommended, and the content may not be suitable for younger children. M says it's recommended for mature audiences over 15. MA 15+ indicates that legal restrictions apply, and the material is not suitable for those under 15. R18+ is restricted to 18 years and above. You can also find useful consumer advice next to the classification. Look out for these symbols on games, DVDs, advertising posters and movies. Please use these classifications to help you choose with confidence.
My parents have some friends who live in the country, and their kids are the same age as me, and we really don't have anything in common with them, so I had to write a poem about it. It's called We Can Learn a Lot from Each Other. You can teach me how to not be self-conscious in photos, and I can teach you how to untag yourself in the ugly ones. I can teach you how to live till 25 without going to a concert so you can save a deposit to buy a house. And you can teach me where to buy cheap concert tickets so you can still afford the rent next week. You can teach me how to not take criticism personally. And I can teach you to float like a liberated balloon when somebody gives you a compliment. I can teach you how to tell if you have a vitamin deficiency. And you can teach me what to rub on sunburnt ears. I can teach you how to be polite to everybody. And you can teach me how to say what you think and still have more and better friendships than I do. I can teach you how to put on makeup for 2 hours when nobody will notice anyway. And you can teach me how to go out in your work clothes and not care even if somebody did notice. You can teach me how to be spontaneous. And I can teach you why it's always a good idea to carry an umbrella, if life hasn't already. I can teach you how to stay entertained during a 1-hour train trip to meet friends who get you. And you can teach me how to find things I have in common with my neighbours. I can teach you how to completely justify the choice not to drive to somebody who drives. And you can teach me how to charm them into offering a lift. I can teach you how to achieve near perfection in almost everything. And you can teach me how to make mistakes and love life anyway. I can teach you how many calories there are in a Big Mac. And you can teach me why that's a ridiculous thing to know. You can teach me how to belong without belonging to someone. And I can teach you how to find someone worth belonging to.
How he found the music. She was as resolute as a sandcastle, as faithful as a hummingbird. He loved her for the sudden sun glittering on the drenched city. He touched her with words, soft words like, my girl, and for keeps. He touched her gently, as one would stroke the downy feathers of a baby bird. But she never touched back. Threw handfuls of breadcrumbs behind her as she disappeared, laughing into the crowd. The rose petals on his floor changed colour. So he found the music. His soft hands strum a guitar gently, as one would stroke a baby bird. He calls the sun and rain, the sea and flowers by name, her name, but in his own voice. Thank you.
Coffee, the currency of culture. Coffee bubbling in the copper pricky, my grandmother stirring the boiling grind, pouring the frothing brew into small cups to serve the men who watch TV on mother's best plastic-coated furniture at weddings, christenings and funerals. Coffee, instant American granulated coffee in large handmade ceramic mugs, Bohemian Outpost Inn, guitars, folk singers, bongo drums, loose sloppy Joe jumpers, faded blue jeans, ripple sole desert boots, sipping coffees until the early hours of the morning, being hip and groovy, smoking cigarettes and being all grown up. Coffee on Lygon Street, student days, university, of strolls along the coffee strip, macchiatos, affogatos and ristrettos, tight-assed strutters in stockings and stilettos, cappuccino conversations of God and sex and life. We thought we were worldly and wise, footpath philosophers discussing politics and the plight of the proletariat. Ho, 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 Ho Chi Minh, all the way with LBJ. Make coffee, not war. Coffee and romance, the coffee ritual. Coffee, chat, a short black attack, or sack on crack, being bang, 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 whack, whack, froth and bubble, toil and trouble, tsunamis, floods and earthquake rubble, the caffeine scene of broken dreams, assassinations and terrorist atrocities. But we stared into each other's eyes through steamy, frothy, milk cloud skies and let all that stuff just pass us by. On the street today, short blacks talk Ferraris, football, Australia's World Cup bid and the financial crisis. Skinny lattes and decaf cappuccinos discuss their latest purchases, clothes, shoes and their recent beauty treatments, the extensions to the house and the baby chinos and how they're progressing and how their short blacks are never home, too busy at work to spend with the family. Overweight welfare workers gather at Brunetti's, eating mini cannolis and skinny chinos at their outdoor committee meeting on strategies of self-restraint. Cigar smokers sit sipping their coffees alone. Schoolgirls giggle and practice to be like their skinny latte mothers. The beggars shuffle from table to table. How you going, mate? Haven't eaten for 3 days. You wouldn't have any spare change, would ya? Thank you.
I'm currently employed by Urella. I am working amongst people with disabilities. I had to write these words because they are beautiful people. I call this particular writing Warm and Bright. Faces warm and bright. Arrive. to contribute. Naught does hinder, all's in reach. The floor is just as smooth. Hung up coats and signed in, they mingle and chat away. They're ready now for the day, but first they need a drink. And tables of work before them lay, they eagerly take them on. With gust and sway they move their way. They love doing their thing. The day has swiftly come to end. Cabs outside wait. They're happy, content, love the day. Those faces warm and bright. Thank you.
This is one I wrote contemplating the last federal election. A modern parable. And lo, they brought before him a red-haired woman caught in the very act of politics. And they said to him, Master, the law allows us, if we get enough votes, to legislate against her. What say you? But he just sat down and started drawing in the dust. And they said to him again, What say you? Tell us, how should we vote? So he looked up, and looking at them with pity, he said to him, Let he who is without sin cast the first ballot. And went back to doodling on the ground. A little while later, he looked up and saw the woman surrounded by a pile of $20 notes. Where have all the voters gone? He said to her. They refused to vote, all of them, and left, she replied. What do I do now? So he said to her, Go and love thy neighbour.
Fabulous minutes every week. Meet the famous, the fortunate and the fashionable as Steve and Jacqueline take you to all the events around town. Not to be missed, it's the most fabulous 15 minutes you'll ever see.
If you were living on the streets, wouldn't you want more than just your best friend to keep you safe, warm and dry? Donate to Backpack Bed for Homeless and give warm, waterproof protection and dignity tonight. Call 1300 OzHelp.
Hi, I'm Lane Beachley. Australians have recycled enough printer cartridges to cover Bondi Beach 12 times. That's kept 11,000 tonnes of valuable resources out of landfill. Drop your used original cartridges into the special boxes at participating retail outlets, and they'll be turned into new products from pens to road surfaces. Help us keep up the good work. Find out more at cartridges.planetark.org.
Show Me the Way creates the first social networking sites for Australia's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. With secure online mentoring, Show Me the Way supports students to complete their schooling and continue to TAFE, university or vocational education. Show Me the Way connects students with e-mentors from corporate Australia. With secure online mentoring, Show Me the Way supports students to complete Year 12. To donate, visit showmetheway.org.au.
We shall have some, as I said, tall tales of people who've been to far off places. There's this city-state far beyond our borders called Lismore, and somewhere between the realm of Christina Keneally and the realm of Anna Bligh, I think. It's perhaps somewhere near the sacred mythological city of Byron Bay, but they may as well have said Avalon or Tamworth. Please welcome to the stage Randall Stevens and Steve Smart, or Steve Smart and Randall Stevens, as the case may be.
I quit my day job. That decision was made with all the cliches. Against good advice and better judgment, throwing career away. I'm going to be a rock star poet. And it's a long way to the top if you ever want to earn a tenth of what you get on the dole. I quit my day job, but I kind of cheated. I've got a night job instead. So I'm sleeping while workaday jerks work their days away, instead staying awake on the graveyard shift, plotting my next bold move, writing my next masterpiece, biding my time while stealing office supplies. Henry Rollins would be proud of me even if Dad isn't. Hi, Dad, he's not here today. Go figure. He might watch this. Hi, Dad. Each hour now hangs heavy overhead while the whole world wails on just beyond the office window. The sun's coming up on St. Kilda, shedding light on its screams and cries. So, with a quiet smile, with foggy eyes in half-life, with a craft knife, with the last album cover now cut out, leaving the faintest of scars as lines carved across this work desk's dead of night, I had a moment. I know I was meant to be doing this type moment, transcendent, when life looks like a zoom pulled close-up shot tight in focus and well-framed picture of yourself, perfectly composed and right where you want to be. Making CDs of poetry, each one like a promise, on the last hour of the last shift before the next trip, the new tour begins. I quit my day job, making poetry my day job, giving it that position, knowing it was the correct decision, that as long as there is art to make, it's a given. This was the right choice. Graveyard shifted in a life worth living. So I sit here, waiting for it all to start again.
Dreaming we are impossible things. They say we are not the practical ones. Revolted by the way in which we revel in our imperfections, look askance and ask, don't we wish to line the walls of our imagined mansions with useless things, wondrous in their fleeting value? They say we ourselves are useless things. They wonder at what our purpose might be. We ask, does this not make us wondrous? Like all the other trinkets of obscure value, they do not see it so and cease to ask. They, Miko and Dicko and Azza and Spazza and Rocco and Fucko and Shaz and Gumboot, the ones who made Rob Schneider a household name, comedy legend shit fucking A. They say we do not contribute. The girl who walks through dead of winter, short-skirted, short-shorted, crop-top, cleaved low, to her we are obscure and silly. The big bloke in the tight shorts kicking the inflated hide to retire at 30, then wonder what to do with the next 50 years of his life. He says we don't understand the market, don't give the punters what they're after. Impractical, of course, in these tough times. Your mate who buys a car with money he does not have that goes 180 k's faster than he will ever be allowed to drive. 1 point left on his license. Touch wood, he hasn't fucking killed anyone yet. He says we are not practical minded. And you fucker, yelling at your wife in the street knowing she won't yell back but yelling louder, not realising that you are yelling at your own father while your own child listens and learns. You say you're a practical man and I make no sense. We are not practical, they say, because we do not reflect what they think. Yet they think we are not practical, so we reflect exactly what they think.
Thanks for coming, everyone. If you haven't figured it out by now, there's a bit of a tour poet vibe about this whole set. This next one is called Steve Smart Entered a Steve Smart Lookalike Contest and Came Third.
It's lies. It's all fucking lies.
It's true. I did a really good impression of Steve, and Steve thought it was awful. I think it was an impression that I won't do it.
So who came second?
Well, it's based on the Charlie Chaplin incident.
Oh, right.
Okay, you did.
You said I came third. Who came second? What's on first? Who came second?
We'll discuss this
Let's
later.
do the poem.
Okay.
Dispatching from the front lines.
1 gig down. 2 items of clothing lost.
3 false alarms.
7 individual alarm snooze cycles ignored.
17 South Australian bus ticket pricing discrepancies noted.
6 bottles of wine consumed.
2 of above bottles actually paid for.
8 friends in South Australia caught up with.
1 good night's sleep blown debating the merits of Will Smith's career.
1 follow-up conversation had next morning wherein both parties realised they were actually agreeing with each other
the entire time.
3 attempts to kick Smarty awake failed.
2 attempts successful.
1 earnest proclamation, I'm quitting drinking.
1 snigger.
$40 lent from 1 poet to another.
6 CDs sold.
4 continental breakfasts consumed.
9 far too pale-looking cups of Adelaide coffee that still taste like shit no matter how much sugar you put in them consumed.
9 affirmations of Melbourne's superiority coincided with.
1 extended session of making fun of Scientology outside their Adelaide headquarters completed.
1 car borrowed. 3 confused attempts at engaging the petrol pumps in Goa abandoned. 1 romantic misadventure attempted. 0 romantic misadventures successful.
6.5 retellings of above misadventure completed.
4 friends successfully entertained with retelling.
Several hours of lambasting and critiquing of female species subsequently undertaken.
518 photos taken. 94 comfortable silences.
18 awkward silences.
1 completed recording of poetry gig. 2 performers in agreement they will release 1 new album to document tour with.
1 suggestion for title so far being Fucking and Punching Ain't Shit.
0 incidents. 0 incidents of above suggested fucking or punching yet executed.
1 suggestion for title subsequently abandoned.
2 poets unimpressed with Port Elliot, South Australia.
Unimpressed.
1 case of mistaken ogling transpired when subjects of ogling,
silhouetted by sunset on top of a hill, mind,
turned out to be teenage boys, not girls.
On closer inspection.
Several comments on hypothetical intentions towards said silhouettes retracted when observers realised their mistake.
1 follow-on suggestion made advocating said boys be followed to see if subjects may have sisters or friends or mothers or
maybe
cousins, perhaps.
9 magazine articles read on toilet.
9 denials that any of the articles featured in Zoo magazine.
1 friend's borrowed MacBook seriously low on power. And several 100,000 beautiful points of light seen in the night sky above Mount Compass.
On 1 cold, quiet, clear night.
11 points missed.
412 smiles.
2 good friends.
6 days down.
14 days remaining. Thank you.
Live streamed from Echuca each week, this is MELfeed.video, a different sort of TV.
All these people here, and I'd hate to admit it, but we're at the desperate and dateless ball. And I tell you, I think half of these people are desperate to get in. I'm sorry, but you're not getting in there like that. You'll be snatched up with all these guys in 5 seconds.
No, I'm meeting my date.
Oh, you got a date already?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Who's your date?
I don't know where he is.
Oh, you don't know? You got to find him in there. Ah, well, I think we're going to have to find you later on in the day to see what's happening with you.
Maybe.
Some dark corner, I'm sure. Look, it's the penguin parade. Now, black tie only. What happened to yours? It's gold.
Thought it'd be a little bit different, you know, because all the men look the same, so I sort of stand out a bit.
So you desperate or dateless?
Bit of both, really. Yeah.
Okay, so what makes you come here then?
No, something different. Never been to one before, so I thought I'd try it
You're
out.
hoping to find, what, a wife?
Oh, yeah, wife and kids, yeah.
Wife and kids?
Why not?
The whole package?
Why not?
Done?
Yeah.
Okay, go through, enjoy it. A little birdie told me you've already got a date. What's that about?
No, just the date I actually got through the program. So her name's Tanya. She's 23. So
how's it all work? What, you just type away on the internet or
fill out a survey? Yeah,
fill out a survey. Oh, what you wanted?
Yeah, basically age group, height, movie choice, size. Darren asked for big Norgs. I don't know if you got it.
Do you know what she looks like then?
No, not yet. Not yet. No. She's a brunette, 23 years old, so hopefully she'll be all right.
Oh, so you had a bit of correspondence before you got here?
Yeah, we'll give her a call.
Huh?
She's a forklift driver.
Oh, fantastic. Sounds good already. So how do you know where you're going to meet her? Is she wearing something for you? Or?
Well, she told me she's wearing a red dress. She's got short brown hair, so she said she'll meet
a red dress. You know how many red dresses are here tonight? That's like saying, he's wearing a black suit with a bow tie. Try and find the guy. 3,000 of them crammed in this beautiful place, great environment. How does it all work?
Basically what happens is that anyone between 18 and 35-year-old is
scraping in
able to come. If they registered early, before the 6th of February, they were able to get computer matched. So they filled out a form, said this is my likes, my dislikes.
How do they get a register form? Where do they get that from?
You can get that through the internet, over the phone, from Australian Red Cross.
Okay, so just www.redcross and away you go, desperate and dateless.
Exactly, www.redcross.org.au. Is the website.
That number on our screen right now. Yes.
So they could download the forms, register that way. They fill out a sort of a questionnaire. It all goes into the computer, and they get computer matched.
So we blame the computer for mismatching. It's not your fault.
Absolutely,
the computer does it all. Okay, because there's a few disappointed people here that have gone, oh God, I've scored the wrong guy. Well, but the fun of this is you can change.
That's right. But the interesting thing is that around Australia, 160 marriages have been contributed to the D&D ball.
You're a photo hog, aren't you?
No.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Now you look fabulous.
Together.
Can you be my date?
Oh, look.
What are you looking for in a man?
What am I? Oh. Height.
I'm height. I've got it.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
That's me.
What do you
else?
do for a living?
TV, bit of this, bit of that.
I like
what do you want me
I
to
like
do?
Action Man.
Oh yeah, fight
yeah.
alligators, firefighters. Yeah, I'll do all that. I can do that.
I love it. Yeah.
Foreign language.
That's what I'm looking for. Oh yeah.
Hoe gaat het met je?
Oh.
Ik ben Steven and ik ben
I
from
love
Netherlands.
it.
Yeah?
I love it. That's good.
So what do you? What makes you come here?
Newly single, actually.
Nearly single.
Newly.
Oh, newly. Oh,
Newly.
you poor thing. It's all right. Don't worry. You'll find somebody. It's okay.
I'm not worrying about that. I'm quite happy to be single, and it's very good like that.
Well, then what are you doing here? Go home, start darning
fun.
socks.
No, it's not in my nature.
Not in your nature.
Not at all.
Well, enjoy the night.
You too.
You might get lucky. Have you got the You got your condoms in there? You got them?
He said, have I got my condoms in here? Of course not.
Oh, you stuffed. Oh, that's where you put them down the bra. You matched before you came here?
No, we're not. We're day release people from prison.
Fantastic. So you just met here then?
Met here. No, these girls know each other from nursing.
Okay.
And I'm just a ring-in.
You're a ring-in?
Yeah.
But aren't you meant to sort of meet your ideal man here after filling out the pages?
Supposedly, yeah.
So what were you filling out? What were you looking for?
Can we get the camera here, please?
You'll get your turn. He is desperate.
Someone who's a Triple J listener.
Really? Man, it's full of ferals. What did you type away for?
Christ.
Can you remember?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I like humour.
Likes going out.
Describe yourself then.
What am I? 176.
Sense of humour.
Sense of humour. Oh, I like to be.
Show off.
90. No, yes. No, back here. Excellent in bed. 90 kilos.
Excellent in bed. Who told you that?
Well, yeah, she asked me. I said, "Any good in bed?"
Which hand told you that?
Steve.
What? Shh. Hey, he's desperate. Give the boy a chance. That's what he's doing here. Ladies, you shouldn't be eating.
Why? Oh no!
Garlic! Garlic! You just ate the food off the table.
And there's a moth in it.
Now, how are you going to get that perfect guy of yours if you're smelling like garlic and food? You got, might have parsley in your teeth.
I don't know. I have trouble in life as it is, so.
You too. What was have you met your guy yet?
Yes.
Where is he?
I think he dumped me. I don't know where he is.
Really?
No, he's got my number. He might call me later.
Did you like him?
He was okay.
He was okay. What's okay? On a 1 to 10 scale?
Oh, an 8.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. What about yourself? Where's your man?
He was meant to ring me at 6 o'clock and he hasn't rung me, so...
Oh, stood up. You're over it?
Yeah.
Just hanging out with your girlfriends is always better?
Yeah, plenty more.
What about your date?
Yeah, I got stood up as well.
Oh, no! You know, there's actually a room here that you can go to and find a new man if your ideal guy didn't work out.
That's probably not a bad option.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Three beautiful girls, all completely desperate, totally dateless. Get down here, they need help.
Well, I came here 2 years ago, had a good night, so I thought, why not do it again?
But did you come out empty-handed?
Oh, no, the date's back there somewhere.
Oh, from 2 years ago?
Oh,
is this like a renewal?
No, it's not. I have bumped into him, which is a bit sad. So.
Oh, so it didn't work?
Oh, no, still keep in touch, still ring every now and again and catch up. And
So what are you hoping for this time then?
Just nothing much, really. Just
Nothing
I come
much,
here to have a good time.
Okay, you have a good time. We'll notice where you are. Just look for the horns. Okay, what's your pickup line?
My friend over there likes you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the ugly one just over there. That's him.
Tim, what's your pickup line? His is really bad. Drop your knickers. There you go. Is that yours?
Are you wearing a spacesuit?
Oh, yeah, and?
Because your ass looks great.
Okay. So where's your dates?
We got ditched.
No. What about you?
Yes, got ditched.
Oh, bummer. Beautiful girls like you?
Unfortunately, yes.
Hey, what's your pickup line? Give us your pickup line. Hey, that dress looks great on my bedroom floor.
Yeah. I would have said, are you desperate and dateless? That would have worked. Then obviously that's not working tonight, so...
Well, you know what? There's about 7 different rooms here tonight, so there's the actual...
We're working our way around.
There's one room. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that. Yes, the band thing's good too. Now there's the room for the one that got dumped as well to find new partners.
No, you get to go there.
Yes, the dumped room.
The dumped room? We have to go there.
You'll go to the dump room. tiaras?
So we can find everyone.
Oh, so you came as a group and you needed identification as a tiara. I haven't got my tiara. You've got like 7 tiara girls here. Hey, guess what? I'm a part of the tiara gang. You didn't get picked up.
I didn't get a date, but I still got a rose.
You got a rose?
Talk to you unless I know who you are.
Steve, how are you?
Steve.
Oh, look at this.
Hello,
You're just trying to pick me up, aren't you?
I know.
Is that your way of picking me up?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Who gave you the tiara?
I got crowned. I'm part of you now. I'm part of the Ingrang.
You should come with us then.
Got it. That's a good pickup line too.
We're meeting every hour on the hour at the bar.
At the bar.
You better be there.
I'm getting picked up. I'm going to see you later. I enjoyed the show. I think I got 3 lines. Oh. Excuse us. Next.
But don't you worry.
What about you?
I'm going to look after my friend.
Do you tongue?
What does that mean?
You know. We'll go home. I'll show you later. Boa girls, the boa boys. What's with the boa?
Well, it's to help us find the date. The perfect
And what's your date wearing?
Just a regular suit like yourself.
Well, that's like a needle in a haystack, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. We met, and
Was he any good?
He was very nice. He had a twin brother, and
Oh, bonus! We like that.
I had 2 people. Yeah.
Did he use a pickup line?
No, he didn't.
What's your pickup line?
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Keep drinking. You know, you might get lucky tonight.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope
What
so.
about yourself?
I'm very lucky. I'm always lucky.
Of course you are.
Well, enjoy your night.
We're at the D&D Forum. We're having lots of fun. We're having the best time. It's so great. Hi, Mum.
Where's your man?
What?
Where's your man?
I choose to be single.
Good on you. What's your best pickup line?
We don't have pickup lines. We're too good for that. Need them.
Oh, okay.
Come on, look at us. As if we would need a pickup line.
Yeah, I mean hot. Oh, you poor girl, you're desperate, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
dateless.
And I admit it. So.
Have you scared them off or have you got lucky?
Haven't got lucky yet. We just got here, so...
A bit late?
Yeah, a bit late. We
They're
came
all-
as singles, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently everyone leaves their date at the door.
So what's your ideal man?
Ideal man, tall,
Tall?
dark, handsome.
Oh, rules me out then. So did you apply on did the whole forms and everything to get here tonight?
We did, but like I said, we came as singles, so we're just
Oh, you can choose whether you want a partner or want to go single?
Exactly right. Yeah, so we got told that you leave your partner at the door anyway. Most people do. So, yeah.
Well, that's probably best, and there's no heartache that way when you don't get any rejections.
Exactly right, and then you don't have to come up with a let-down story.
True,
you know, the whole,
yeah. Sorry I didn't call you, lost your number, all that. Yeah.
Exactly right.
It's got it going on.
right.
Well, enjoy your night.
Thank you. Thank
you
you
might
so
get lucky.
much. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, we all do.
Qué lindo los arrebores cuando el sol se va poniendo. Qué buenos son los amores cuando se llevan por dentro. Sí, corazón, ya se va.
We're in the D&D Ball 2002.
Sign up your register, and you get to go into a competition to win a trip on a Contiki tour. Where to?
To Great Keppel Island.
And guess who won?
Me.
Yes. Luck of the draw, but you won a 7-day holiday?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, don't you feel special?
Yeah, I really can't wait.
Now you're taking your friend.
Yes, Catherine's coming.
Hey, you scored well.
Yes, I did.
You don't have to worry about the men, you've just got a trip.
Yeah, that's right. Can't wait.
So where is your man?
He's out there somewhere. We don't know where he is.
Oh, you haven't met him yet?
We have met him, but we're
Did you like him?
later. Yeah, he's quite nice, yeah.
So then why aren't you taking him on the holiday?
Well, I already promised Catherine.
Okay. Friends come first.
That's right.
Yes. Husbands, well, they'll come later, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Enjoy your trip up there.
Oh, thank you very much.
You must be over the moon.
Yeah, I'm still really overwhelmed. Can't believe it.
I think these two girls are going to be shopping, get their bikinis going and ready to party.
Because none of us desperate, we're just dateless.
Yeah, we know how
live
that.
together
And you're a bit of a double drinker too, huh?
We're just saying, I'm having a shit night, I'm going to get shit-faced. So
Oh, really? Why? What's going wrong?
There's just no good-looking men here. I found one who was gay.
Oh, that's usually how it works, isn't it? Oh, well, there you go. Try and find some others.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Go on a pashathon.
A what?
A pashathon.
A pashathon.
Pash them all. I've been kissed left. Have you been kissed?
Not as many times as you have.
I know, but damn bloody long-lasting lipstick, these women. So what brings you here tonight?
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, a bit obvious.
Yes.
You look a bit desperate. How long have you been dateless?
About 3 months now.
Oh, only 3 months?
That's due to work though, work commitments. So basically, you know.
It's always an excuse.
Yes, I know. We're not as lucky as some people are. A Red Cross volunteer?
Actually, marketing communications.
Okay. So tonight's been put on by you guys.
Yes.
And to raise money for what?
It's, all the money that's raised goes to community programs and emergency services in Victoria.
Oh, fantastic. So we don't have to actually give blood?
No.
No, thank God for that. I haven't got much left.
Oh, that's good.
No. So how often do you do this event, basically?
This event's run annually, and it's run in every state of Australia.
Fantastic. Now, how many years have you been doing it?
This is my first year as a marketing communications. I was a volunteer for 2 years before that.
Single?
Yes.
I think you're going out there, aren't you? A little later on?
I'm looking.
Now, how do people, other than having these balls, what else can people do to help the Red Cross?
There's lots of things that people can do. We actually have quite a few fundraisers through the year. The next big one is Red Cross Calling in March, which is the door knock appeal.
Okay,
yeah, you can
That's
actually,
a big one.
yeah, you can volunteer to actually door knock for us, or just give generously when people come to your door.
I've just been standing here for the last 5 minutes. These two are I mean, getting along really well.
We were talking about you, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was really
No, you weren't. Anyway, apparently you're not even your own match.
No, we're not. No.
What, you've dumped them?
Complete opposites, mate. Complete opposites.
Really?
Totally.
So where's your dates then?
Dumped it an hour and a half after talking to him.
Oh, really? What was wrong?
He was depressing. And too ethnic.
And what about your date?
I think she went home for broken heart, mate. I just had to let her down.
Oh, you're a heartbreaker? I think maybe we could match your date with your date, and then maybe they'll be happy in depressed land. We'll catch up when you're really drunk and see how you go.
Great.
You won't be looking like that, that's for sure.
I need the vibrators later.
No, I'm going to get better looking.
Is that what you've been doing lately? Is just the vibrators?
Hey, God gave me hands. Why not? I've got a
Brendan's
I've found the most desperate woman here tonight.
That's why she's with me. I'm happy.
Shit. I mean, if you can't find a man who's going to do it, you've got to do it yourself.
I can, but he's in Sydney. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I just get interstate.
Well, we'll make it a story, mate. We'll call it good, so.
Not too much.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you later. You too. Good luck. Good luck.
King.
Of an update. Now, how you been going?
Been really good fun, a great venue with some naughty nurses.
Naughty nurses?
Well, they could be, I don't know.
They all are, I think.
They're pretty wild.
Looking good?
Really nice people.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah?
I'm just new to Melbourne, so
okay.
Come
Good
out.
Introductory there.
Good introductory, yeah. Good to come out and meet a few people. Bit of a dance, yeah, good fun.
I think that's a score. Hey, give us have you practiced your pickup line? What's your best pickup line?
I don't use pickup lines. I just say, "G'day, I'm David," basically.
Just like that.
Away you go. You know,
it's all too easy.
And you talk about whatever. I've just been travelling, so
you got lots to talk about, eh?
I've been to South America, so you talk about travel and
You're from where?
America.
You came all that way to be
to
this
get a frickin' date.
And nothing.
Yeah, we met our dates. They're lovely guys. Really nice.
And what happened?
I got it. And yeah, no, we've enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you've flown
all the way from Washington D.C.
just to get an Aussie boy.
Aussie boy.
Oh, and it worked. Mariah Carey.
No!
Don't you hate that?
I get that all the time. I get that or Chelsea Clinton.
Oh, yes! Chelsea Clinton. We're here with Chelsea Clinton all the way from DC.
My daddy Bill is all the way back.
You're so desperate, but you're not anymore. You've got a date.
I got my bodyguard back there.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Trying to do an update to see how everybody's going, and look, the girl with the horns is doing well. She's got 4 guys. Middle of the night, you're doing well.
Oh, thank you.
You're keeping tabs, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. Jeez, you're good. And you're a bit crippled.
Just a little bit crippled, just a tennis injury. Only happened Tuesday night. I'm actually doing a really good upper body workout at the moment.
So you really are desperate to get here regardless of what's going on.
Mate, desperate? No, actually I'm not desperate, but I love meeting people, and the Red Cross is a really good cause.
It is actually, and I think you need the, do you need to give blood or someone needs to give you blood?
I do give blood actually.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Oh man, I hope you find your man. Whoever, is this your man?
No, I'm glad he's not.
No, yes, I think it's a bit like that, isn't it? I found this girl. She's got crutches.
I found her before.
Oh, you've already found her? What happened? Didn't work?
I've got her name and number.
Oh, is that like how you meet? You just say, I'll be in crutches, you'll be in crutches, that sort of thing?
Oh, no, you tell them how to develop their muscles properly.
Oh, okay. So what, you just decided to come single then?
Yeah.
A kiss? Oh, beautiful. Is she good?
Very good.
Are you a good kisser?
No, he is.
Oh, he is. I won't have a go at that. I won't go. I'm not going there. Not going there. Did you meet here?
Oh, we just met here before.
Oh, yeah.
We're having a good time, though.
I bet you are.
We are having
the
a ball.
alcohol, isn't it?
No, it's not
it's
the alcohol.
lubricant.
No, it's not the lubricant.
No.
Later on tonight it will be the lubricant.
Yeah, well, we won't go there, shall we not? This is a wild event going on here, and you can catch it next year. Get onto the internet, log on, become a desperate and dateless person, and have a ball here at the Royal Exhibition Buildings this year. What a night. I've got lucky, and I'll see you later. Come on, girls, we're all going home now.
I didn't think this could happen in Toowoomba. And then I saw it on TV that night. It really opened my eyes.
Whenever the community comes to us and says we need your help, we do whatever we can to assist.
It is a great feeling to be able to help your neighbours, to be able to help your community.
Each Lions member and each Lions club in different parts of the country, we're totally different. But we have core values that are the same. They remain the same for any Lions member and any Lions club anywhere in not just Australia but around the world.
Anything that you can think of that you want to do and support and help, Lions are doing it right now somewhere in this world.
I think Lions need to tell their story. They need to let people know the amazing things that they do.
The three major streams that we have in Lions are the community service that we do for the public, health and medical research, and the disaster relief.
We're out there to help people. If you love helping people, get out and help. Join a Lions Club.
We started this project about 20 years ago. All this gear would normally go to the tip. We recycle it and give it to someone less fortunate and where it is needed in the world.
Being a Lion here in Australia means that I can make a difference to my community. But most importantly, it's inspiring other people to get out and be part of their community and make it a safer and a much happier and better place to live.
Childhood cancer, I've always been interested in cancer and small children from the time I first got cancer 30 years ago. Research is an indefinite item. You can't see it, but it helps so much.
I'm here managing the money and the relationships, but other people are out there raising funds and bringing in community support. Without all of us working together, we can't affect change.
2 more extra hands at any function, any working bee, anything we do. 2 more hands can help us raise more funds, can help us serve our community better.
I went to my Lions Club and I said, I got this idea and I think it's a little bit crazy, but I think we could raise some serious money doing it. And it was to run 100 kilometres. And the club said, okay, if you want to do this, whatever you need us to do, we'll be there 100%. And I'm pretty proud to say that together we raised just over $16,000. So we blew the target out of the water, and I think that was due to a lot of the support that I got.
Through my leadership training and all that, I've learned about thinking global and acting local, and Lions Club is definitely that kind of thing. They act within their communities, but the money that they raise can often end up in any corner of the world.
As an individual, I could only do so much, and whilst it was my burning desire to try and help these people, having an organisation such as the Lions family to call upon to support me and those people that were working with me just made it possible for us to achieve so much more.
You know, after the devastation, to come back into the community, you know, you were shattered by what you saw. You know, no police station, no post office, no petrol station, you know, no kindergarten. There was nothing here.
And all that water with an unstoppable.
I don't know that I've ever seen as much as arrived. There were fridges, washing machines, dryers. There was toasters, jugs, just everything.
to be invited to be a part of Lions just opened up a whole new world to me. A world that provided a structured organisation that could see that the hours that I volunteered could achieve so much more.
I think Lions is a wonderful organisation. The people in it have charity in their hearts.
I can go anywhere in this country, see somebody with a Lions badge, walk up to them and say, "Good day, you got a friend."
Never once in my life had I had a group of people where I could go to, say anything, and know that no matter what, they would be there, they would stand by me.
It's the family. That's what we call it. It's the Lions family. Without Lions, I think I'd be lost now because they've been my life.
We work hard, but the most important thing is we have fun.
The fellowship of all the members of the club, the broader community, it's just a tremendous organisation to belong to. You know, I'll be here till I die.
It is extremely rewarding and gratifying to be a part of an organisation that can spread its support so far and wide.
More members means more hands, means more support to the community.
I would encourage everyone just to give it a go and see if it is for them, because the return that you get for giving to others is amazing.
Get out there, do something wonderful, be part of this fantastic organisation.
Live streamed from Echuca each week, this is MELfeed Video, a different sort of TV. Live streamed from Echuca each week, MELfeed Video, a different sort of TV. Live streamed from Echuca each week, MELfeed Video, a different sort of TV.
They say there's a chance I could die in a car crash. Maybe even from heart disease. Maybe even skin cancer.
I could die in a work-related accident, or I could die in a fight.
The fact is, the biggest cause of death for men in my age group is suicide.
Please don't let this happen to me.
You can do something. Lifeline believes that suicide is mostly preventable. Help us save lives. Find out what you can do at lifeline.org.au.
MELfeed Video is about to close operations for tonight, but we'll be back with you next Monday evening. In the meantime, here is a selection of programs that will be seen on our next scheduled web stream. You're welcome to visit our website at MELfeed.video for further details of this project. Until next time, from all of us here at MELfeed Video, we wish you a very good night.